Madam President.
Senator from Colorado.
Thank you, Madam President. Before he leaves the floor, I just want to thank the Senator from Oklahoma for his commitment to this issue, for his candor. We don't necessarily agree on every single thing, but I do know he's a man of great conviction, and we're lucky to have him in the Senate. And it's my hope that we can get to a place where we actually are together addressing these budget issues in a way that's not a management by crisis or one across-the-board cut after another, but actually is a thoughtful plan to relieve our children and our grandchildren of this burden that we're threatening them with. So, through the chair, I thank my colleague. I came to the floor today after the Senator from Oklahoma described today as a day of petty kindergarten political games to talk about a place where they're not playing any of those right now, and that's a town in Colorado that I represent called Estes Park, which has been a beacon of resilience. It's in the mountains just northwest of Boulder. It's the gateway to Rocky Mountain National Park. I can see from the President's reaction that she may have been there. The town of several thousand residents hosts 3 million visitors a year, including an average of over 500,000 visitors in the month of September. This time of year is peak tourist season. The weather is beautiful. The aspen's leaves are even more beautiful than the weather, and the elk famously wander through the park and through the town. Whether you're coming to rest or recreate, Estes Park welcomes you, and it always has. In 2011, visitors generated $196 million in tourism spending and supported more than 2,700 jobs. By some estimates, tourism accounts for 43% of local employment. When the floods hit in Colorado, Madam President, Estes Park was almost entirely cut off from the outside world. Here's Route 34 going to Estes Park. Two of the major roads into town were wiped out for miles at a stretch, leaving only one road into town. Many homes and businesses were destroyed, but the residents of Estes Park picked themselves up and began the recovery process, and limited access to the town has been restored. Folks have just started opening up their businesses again. Visitors had just started returning to Rocky Mountain National Park again, and then Congress stepped in and dealt an unbelievably cruel blow by shutting down this government. Let me quote what Estes Park resident Tom Johnson said on the Tuesday of the shutdown. Quote, "I think politicians are playing around like they do, and it's the people who wind up with all the problems for it. Man, they did it to Estes Park when they shut down that park. The Rocky Mountain National Park closed with the shutdown. Hundreds of campers have had to cancel their reservations, and likely thousands more canceled their plans to visit. The Denver Post reported that if visitors to Estes Park declined by 70%, it could mean the loss of 1,100 jobs, $90 million in spending, $5.8 million in sales tax revenue, and $4.4 million in local taxes." This is one community in Colorado, one community in the United States of America tonight as we horse around here in the United States Congress. The shutdown is a kick in the teeth to our local governments and small businesses and their efforts to recover from these floods. One of the area's more famous businesses is the Stanley Hotel. John Cullen, the hotel's owner, told us that while it's booking visitors for long weekend trips, it's been slow to bring in the usual number of guests during the week. He says it's because locals can't come to Rocky Mountain National Park for the fall foliage. He tells us they've done everything they can to keep the hotel open because it's a major employer in Estes Park, but he's losing money on a daily basis. Diane Muno is a local business owner in Estes Park with 4 retail shops. The Spruce House and the Christmas Shop and our 2 local Christmas holiday stores, the White Orchid and the White Orchid Bridal Shop, sell clothing and other apparel. Some of these businesses have been serving customers in Estes Park since 1969, Madam President. They are institutions in this Colorado community. The flooding damaged 3 of 4 of her businesses. One was seriously damaged, not yet reopened. The other 2 rushed to reopen, to recover, and they would have been fine, except we closed Rocky Mountain National Park and that has slowed foot traffic in a significant way. Diane's October revenue for these 4 stores is down 67%, two-thirds down from this point in October last year. She typically has 12 to 15 employees, but she's working a skeleton crew of 6. Another business damaged by the floods was Kind Coffee. Its owner, Amy Hamrick, has been relying on internet sales while she's working to reopen the store. The community has rallied around this store, as our communities that have been struck by the flood have done. It's bought coffee beans and mugs and T-shirts online, helped clean up floodwaters. But the same story holds. She took a huge hit when the government shut down, making horrible things worse. Amy's husband, David Hamrick, a firefighter with the U.S. Forest Service, has been furloughed. This inability of Washington's politicians to get done the most basic function that we have to keep the government running has wrought in this one Colorado community. Amy told National Public Radio, "We carry on through the middle of October with tourism dollars and locals coming to see the elk rut and to go into the park and see the color. And the National Park is our largest employer in town, so our community has now lost a lot of jobs in the interim." This is exactly why it's the wrong moment for Colorado, for Estes Park, to have Washington's dysfunction come crashing down. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. But as they're now saying in Estes Park, they're mountain strong, and they'll get through it. And I know that they will. Amy Hamrick took the time to remind us that 90% of the town is open, dry, and ready for customers. She said the town is beautiful, and golf courses have elk on them 24 hours a day. Estes Park, like much of Colorado, has taken a hit, but it won't stay down. The community continues to pull together and recover. As expected, its neighbors are going to go the extra mile to help everybody out. This quote from Jeannie Beyer captures the spirit of Colorado. She said, "We live down in Loveland. It's difficult for people down there right now. I know it's difficult down there because I was there last week with the mayor, county commissioner, and others looking at devastation in Loveland. But we also knew it's just as difficult up here in Estes, and they're our neighbors, so we took the roundabout way to get up here to support Estes as well. The floods won't deter them, and neither will the outrageous stupidity of this shutdown. Rocky Mountain National Park is closed, but there's still plenty of other reasons to come and enjoy Estes Park. Earlier today, somebody that works with me named James Thompson spoke with the town's mayor, Bill Pinkham, and asked him what's the one thing he would want me to say on this floor, and the message was plain and simple. He said, "Michael, tell them it's spectacularly beautiful up here. It's still a great experience, and we are open for business." This town has been through a lot and has risen to its challenges. So I say to everybody, come to Estes Park. Enjoy the beauty, shop at our businesses, dine at our restaurants, and meet the folks who wouldn't let a natural disaster or a man-made disaster stop them from succeeding. You can learn more about a trip to Estes Park at visitestespark.com. And to my colleagues, I urge you to come to Colorado for a different reason. Maybe we could all learn something from these incredible people about what it means to pull together in the face of a crisis. And for those of us playing politics with this shutdown and playing politics with this fiscal cliff, I would really encourage you to spend a single moment in one of our flood-ravaged towns. That might bring some welcome clarity to the debate. And with that, Madam President, I yield the floor.
Do we need somebody to suggest the absence of law? The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Alexander.